Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Rob, your local problematic Leo, and today on the Daily Grind, we are finally taking a look at Lavos Prime Access. Now, while I absolutely loved Lavos mechanically, he really made me think like outside of the box with the way that I played and the way that I built. Visually, he was giving me a little bit of like garbage dump. However, they have cleaned him up immensely in his Prime Access variation. However, there is still a lot of stuff going on. We'll get into that when we take a look at his model. But we're also going to be taking a look at the Cedo Prime as well as a classic, the dual Zoren. And yes, Zoren Coptering is kind of sort of back, but I am not the expert person to be talking about that. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump on in. Okay, so I don't know if I've ever done a dress to kill for original Lavos, but as you can see right here, this is probably why I didn't do it. I kind of like gave up on him, and yes, I do have the Tenogen skin that looks really dope. However, it's just a lot. It's just a lot, but let's take a look at him now. Now, as you can see, statistics-wise, they did give him a boost in his health and shields, which is really all that you can do statistically for Lavos, because there's some weird stuff going on with his stats, which I can totally respect. But as you can see, he is nice, shiny, and new. He's got a lot of pipe that he's trying to lay. But as you can see right here, my favorite thing about him is the helmet. The helmet looks like vipery, but also kind of looks a little like bird raptory. You know what I mean? You know how like reptiles and dinosaurs and stuff were like supposed to be the same thing as like birds for a while? And listen, if you don't know the etymology, the zoology, the historical value of birds and lizards, like look it up, because I'm not going to be the one to tell you. But let's take a look at the model real quick. I actually want to go ahead and strip down from the armor pieces too, because there's a lot going on. As you can see, there is a ton of pipes, there's a ton of like not wires, but a lot of shit going on. So let me go ahead and take off the armor pieces, but while we're there, we'll take a look at the armor pieces. So the Nimandi armor set is kind of like this shoulder piece, and you can kind of see the pipes jiggling right there. Same thing for the chest piece, as well as the legs. I think the leg part is actually my favorite, but it adds a lot to the shape of Lavos Prime, and I think that like if you're like me, sometimes it can feel like a little too much. Now, this is kind of like the base version. Let's take off the SANDR as well. The SANDR, I kind of like it. It's the VTAM. Like, as compared to the original VTAM, it looks way better. So, this is just Lavos at his base. And I do want to point out, one of the things you can remove is you can remove the arterial, I thought it said aerial, but the arterial tubes if you wanted to pull him back a little bit more for customization, because it is kind of a lot. So just know that if that turns you off of it, which I kind of think he looks a little bit better without them for certain armor sets, you can go ahead and do that. He also, when I took off the Lavos armor, there are actually base armor pieces. So as you can see right there, it's got a little jug, a little shoulder jug for him. So that's how it'll actually look if you just get the base version of him, which I think actually looks really good and makes it a little bit visually cleaner. The other thing that I will point out right here is his tertiary is another metallic. You'll notice too that like for me, this is not a final look by any means, and it's mainly because of the fact that I'm still kind of playing around. But the tertiary is another metallic piece. It's a little bit more satiny than the actual metallic accent. And again, this is not the final version, as you can probably tell, but this is something that I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys, because the model, look at the neck. It's so good. It looks so freaking good. He does look a good chunk bit better than his original version. It does make me want to play with him a little bit more. But let's go ahead and add in a couple more things. We're going to toss on the attachments again, just because. And the thing about it is I don't actually remember what it was called at all. I think it had an L in it somewhere, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. It's an N, Nimandi. Okay, let's put that in there. Now, I will say, having all of this stuff is definitely a lot of a look. which means that it's going to kind of like make things a little bit more difficult when you do choose your ephemeras, because everything is going to be a lot. As you guys know, one of my favorite ones is of course going to be the Sapphire, but even then it's like you've already got so much going on. The Sapphire isn't adding much of anything, so I might not even put that on for like a final look, but you can see it's busy, so you're not going to see it. The Signas though, for those of you guys who picked up the Rhino Heirloom, look at it. It kind of looks really good. It kind of looks really good. Whether that's going to end up in the final look or not, I have no clue. But I will say that I'm very happy with what we currently have right now. Now, let's take a look at the Cedo and the Dual Zoren in the Simulacrum, because I don't think that I actually did a, a dedicated review for the Cedo, and I was like, ooh, very, very interesting. Alright, so kicking things off, we have the Cedo Prime, and as you can see, it's got a lot of boosts to its supplemental stats for its like primary fire, the full auto one. It's got more fire rate, it's got more multi-shot, it's got an increased reload speed, not increased, but like decreased reload speed. You know, its reload speed is faster, that's what we're trying to say. And then the damage projectile, the critical chance has gone up a little bit, status projectile has gone up a little bit, and base damage has gone up a tad. And then of course there is the secondary fire that we have on it with the like disc thing. Oh my god, this is just such a weird weapon that I'm so, it like perfectly fits Lavos, because Lavos is also like really weird. But it's got a little bit more critical chance, a little more critical multiplier to kind of like bridge the gap. But let's just talk about why I'm so like, do I want to say I'm enamored with this weapon? No, but it's just a really, really fascinating one, and it goes so well with Lavos. Now, if we're just gonna look at it for the auto, like the auto is just like a full auto shotgun, right? Now, the interesting thing about the full auto part is the fact that it does additional damage. I think it's 60%. More damage. Don't mind the build, okay? Listen, it's a weird weapon, like just ignore it. But it does 60% more damage for each status effect on the target. And then it has a secondary fire, which has a guaranteed, like, let me shoot this for you. Do you see that? It's literally like a tracing disc that goes around and applies a whole bunch of statuses. Now, if you notice, it applies all of the base elements, including blast, and then whatever element you have in addition to it. So, as you can see right here, I'll fire it off, and then we got fire, we got electricity, we got ice, we got toxic, we have the viral from what I have equipped on the weapon, then we have the actual blast, right? And that is to supplement the primary. Look at that, look at that, look at that. The primary, which deals bonus damage per each of these statuses on there. Now, the reason why I'm so like enamored and fascinated with the mechanics of this weapon is because Lavos also has an augment. So as many of you guys know, when you hold down different buttons for Lavos, he can actually go ahead and charge up his abilities with different elements, right? But he also has an augment, which will add that element to the weapon that you have. So you can have your equipped element, you can have the 4 base elements, you can have the blast, and you can literally layer on so many different elements and then go ahead and proceed with your primary fire to deal really a lot of damage. Because the primary fire on its own doesn't seem that, you know, it's not like, ooh, oh my god, you're like melting enemies. It's not bad, but like when you combine it with like all the additional statuses you're applying, it's just, ooh, it's juicy. You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to do it any other way? And I'm not sure if this is just a simulacrum bug, but look, I'm firing off the secondary, and it's not consuming any ammo. I could be wrong. Because I'll be honest, when I was leveling this weapon, I was not paying attention to my ammo consumption. But I am putting it out there that, you know, this is kind of nice to apply all of that. And then, if you've got a melee weapon with condition overload, which I don't, I'm just a spoiler, I don't have condition overload on my ability right now. That could, listen, we're going to change things around, but I'm just saying, condition overload matched up with that, that's going to be, it's going to be really intense and really sexy. Now, speaking of Dual Zoren, let's go ahead and just pull up the original. I like to have it prepped, but you know, I mean, we're here. Like, you get to see how the sausage is made. Zoren. So, Dual Zoren. a lot of the stats have gone up. As you can see, the attack speed has increased. Yes, the attack speed has increased, so it's Fiesta. It's got a higher critical chance, higher critical multiplier, higher status chance, which is really, really nice for this weapon. And it looks like the base damage has, like, doubled. So it's amazing. Now, for those of you guys who are wondering, it does allow you to Zoren Copter. For those of you guys who were not there back in the day, we're able to use the slide attack to increase the speed, our parkour speed, and let us go at ridiculous speeds, right? You kind of see it. I was never good at it back in the day, okay? So, for those of you guys who are, I think they even said that it, like, resets your double jump or something like that, so you can keep going, because the actual trait for it is that you will get a boost in your movement speed. Landing cancels the effect, so you can kind of just keep going if you can keep coptering forward. I, however, am not a need for speed kind of person. I have been traumatized by playing Miss Titania, and basically what would happen is if anybody speed boosted me, like the Wisps and the Volts of the world, I would literally just, like, smash into walls repeatedly. And I got so used to using Blink all the time that I would just, like, literally blink into... It was terrible. But anyway, let's go ahead and pull up the Zoren. Now, the one thing that I did do with this, which I really love, is Melee Affliction, which allows you to share status effects on your weapons surrounding enemies. So basically, if you inflict something on one enemy, it inflicts it to all other enemies within, like, I don't know. I don't have it maxed, so, like, I don't know, it's like 20 meters or something like that. So, as you can see, I was spreading that viral, and hopefully that slash. Alright. Now that I've got proxy, now it's kind of like spreading to everything all around like a little disease, and I kind of really, really love it. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is nice to see, like, an older weapon get a little bit of love, because this is one of those classics, and I think we were all wondering when we were gonna end up being able to have it again. You know what I mean? Because I don't think we ever got the single Zoren Prime, but we've always, I don't even think there was a regular single Zoren, but it was one of those ones where it's like, when are you coming back? And now it's coming back, and I believe it's like a mastery, like, what, rank 13 weapon? It's pretty high up there when we talk about mastery rank, so I was like, ooh, sexy, I like it. I like it a lot. So, for those dual Zoren folks out there, it is good, it holds up. It's not my favorite of everything, but I do quite like it. This is what I'm playing around with right now. It's just a for now thing. I, of course, need to get a little bit more boost in my melee influence. I'll probably pick up a couple more of those augments, and I might toy around with some of the other things that are on here. So don't pick apart the build. Just know that the build works for now, for what I need it to work for. Anyway, let me know how you guys feel about Lavos Prime. See, oh my god, see, it's like so weird that things can look so incredibly different in different lightings. Like, it looks so, like, not as shiny and also very, very orange in that light. However, in this light, it is far more pale and far more pretty. However, the cotton candy energy still makes me very, very happy. So, that is going to do it for me for now. I don't know if/when I'm going to be doing a dress to kill for Lavos, because it's still a lot of look. Maybe we can play around with some other stuff. Let me know how you feel about all of this in the Prime Access down in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.